What's going on, everyone? So, according to Mike Oscato, the Los Angeles Lakers are one of many teams interested in potentially acquiring Kyle Kuzma, that they are monitoring Kyle Kuzma. So, per the report, the Los Angeles Lakers, Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors, and Cleveland Cavaliers are among the teams monitoring Kyle Kuzma, per Mike Oscato. The Dallas Mavericks nearly traded for Kuzma last season before pivoting for acquisitions of P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford. The Indiana Pacers were interested in Kuzma before swinging a blockbuster trade to acquire Pascal Siakam. The Sacramento Kings have also been linked to Kuzma for the past two seasons. Other teams we've kept tabs on Kuzma include the Bucks, Warriors, Lakers, Heat, and Cavs. Hoops Hype has learned. So, the idea, okay, is you'll have Jonas Valanciunas available December 15th. So we're, 11 days away, time of this video. You're looking at Kyle Kuzma, who's making $23.5 million. You add in a Jonas Valanciunas, that would be $33.5 million. Right? So at that point, what is the cost, right? Supposedly, the Wizards want 2 firsts for Kyle Kuzma. Not worth 2 firsts. I like Kyle Kuzma. He was part of the Lakers championship roster. He's very inefficient, right? And that's a problem. Obviously, you could look and go, well, it's like him and Jordan Poole on the Wizards, and that's it. So he's just taking jacket-up shots. Very different. Alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and as a third option, yeah. But he's also said, in the past that he likes the role that he's in now, right? So, would he be willing to go back to the Lakers and kind of play, the third, fourth guy role? I don't know. would he be willing to just kind of play, hey, you're just going to be the 3-and-D guy? I mean, he solves the wing depth, right? Gives you a legit 3-and-D sizable forward that could play the 3 or the 4. His contract declines every year, which is good too, right? So this year it's 23.5, then it's 21, then it's 19, right? So you clear a little off the top, which again could be the difference between you being a second apron team, a first apron team, right? Freeing up your full mid-level, right? That little change is a difference, right? A lot of people look at that and go, $2 million, what's the difference? It'd be the difference in a lot of ways, right? Lakers are $35K, or I think $35K from the second apron, right? That extra $2 million go a long way. Then you add in, a Valanciunas, right? If you could get both for a first, sure, right? An unprotected first, if you could get Kyle Kuzma and a Valanciunas, or say a first and a second, right? Sure. But my problem is that again, Kyle Kuzma, and is he willing to buy into the role that we need him to play? 1, 2, can he pick up his efficiency? Right? Kyle Kuzma isn't my favorite option, right? But it all comes down to price, right? It's just, if Kyle Kuzma's 2 firsts and Dorian Finney-Smith is a first, let's say neither come down on their asking price and you have to choose between the two, give me Dorian Finney-Smith at a first. I get he's older, he's not putting up the stats that Kyle Kuzma is, but he's more efficient, gives you the defense, but he's a guy that is going to come in and play his role, and you also have a first to go do other things, right? I also don't think Dorian Finney-Smith is going to go for a first. I mean, they've been trying to get a first for Dorian Finney-Smith since they traded for him. Literally, 2 years now, they've been trying to get a first for Dorian Finney-Smith. Dallas was trying to get a first for Dorian Finney-Smith, and they weren't able to do it. Right? I just don't see him. Maybe a team comes along out of desperation, or maybe it's a heavily protected first, something top 10 protected or something like that. Maybe, but I think more likely than not, he'll probably go for a couple seconds, right? He'll probably go for 2-3 seconds, something like that. Maybe it's a Rui level deal, right? Where we traded for Rui, it was 4 seconds for Rui. Maybe it's something like that. Instead of a first, it's 3 or 4 seconds. If that's the case, fine. And then again, how much are they going to drop their price for Kyle Kuzma? If they're going to go from are they really going to go from 2 firsts to 4 seconds? Probably not. Right? It'd probably be 2 firsts to a first. Okay, then fine. It'll be a protected first, right? They'll probably be patient. And they're a team, they don't have to rush to trade him. Right? So, they're a team that's just and look, Kyle Kuzma's happy. He's got all the baddies sitting courtside. He gets the hoop. He's good. Him and Jordan Poole are, pulling a bunch of, fees at the end of the night. It's just I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, I think personally, he's kind of like last on the list, in my opinion. I think he's kind of like towards the bottom of the list, in my opinion. Again, if you could get him and like Valanciunas, I've seen people like be like, okay, what about like Malcolm Brogdon? The problem with Malcolm Brogdon, the guy just can't stay healthy. The guy can't like play more than 40 games, right? Like, obviously many people know I'm a big Zach LaVine guy, but like, oh yeah, people are like, he has an injury history. Yeah, but outside of last season, he played 77 games, 67 games, 60 games. Like, the guy is at least playing 65 games a season on average. Like, Malcolm Brogdon, yeah, he makes a lot of sense as like that 3-and-D style, point guard, 2 guard, like combo guard, initiate, like a full healthy, like you don't, like if you told me you had a time machine and you were like, hey, went back in time, Malcolm Brogdon, between now and the end of his contract, guy's playing 70 games a season, he's going to be healthy, like, perfect, like, go get him, right? Like, he makes sense. But I don't think that's going to be a realistic thing. Like, he can't even stay healthy right now. So it's just like, again, like, Valanciunas, I do believe is the most likely acquisition for the Lakers at the center position. I'm not saying that they won't potentially get anyone else. I just think, like, if it's like, hey, Tyler, who do you think is most likely to be a Laker, by the trade deadline center-wise? Probably Valanciunas, right? They have a good relationship with the Wizards. The Wizards want to move off of Valanciunas. I think that they're going to be realistic. We've heard multiple reports that they're just kind of looking for, like, they would like a first, but really it'll probably go for a second, maybe 2. Scotto even talked about, I think it was Gabe Vincent in a second for Valanciunas. Perfect, right? Like, I think you even clear like $1 million and some change off your books, which could be beneficial. Like, especially if you make a big swing trade and you clear off 2, 3, 4 guys, right? So, like, if you could do something like that, I would just go get Valanciunas and then focus on kind of these other guys and, kind of let everyone else go get Kuzma, right? Like, everyone's fighting over Kuz, right? According to this report, right? There's like 7 teams that want Kyle Kuzma. Let them worry about the shiny toy, and, I've talked about this before, and then go sneak in through the back and just go grab the one that is useful, right? Everyone wants the new, like, this is the latest, but it's like, man, let me go get old reliable, right? Like, to me, I just would rather that, right? Like, just go get old reliable and Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Because literally, you could go get Dorian Finney-Smith and Day'Ron Sharpe for probably, a quarter of the price that it would take, according to, reports, for Kyle Kuzma as well as Jonas Valanciunas, right? Like, if I get Day'Ron Sharpe, who, he's 23 years old, right? Which is something else about him that I think is interesting. So he's listed as 6'9", but coming in, so like in college and during the draft, he was listed as 6'11". So unless he like dropped 2 inches, or unless he shrunk, which I think is odd. Maybe it's like without shoes, but even shoes, like, what is he wearing? Platforms? Like, he's talking like 2 inches. Like, that's a big difference. Usually a guy's like, 6'9" and a half, and then, the shoes, it's like, okay, now he's 6'10". But, like, I don't know. But I just thought that's pretty interesting. That's an interesting point. But I just think, like, if you could get Dorian Finney-Smith and Day'Ron Sharpe for, like, a protected first, I'd rather that than Kyle Kuzma, and because you could still have a first, you could still go do other things, right? You're talking literally the price for Kuz alone is, I'm like, remove the assets, remove the picks. I'm talking about just like the salary, right? Like, talking $23.5 million. Day'Ron Sharpe's making like under 4, I think, or let's just call it 4. Let's call it 5 to be safe. So he's making 5. Dorian Finney-Smith, let's call it 15, because you got to remember the Lakers got to send out more salary. That's still cheaper than just Kyle Kuzma, right? You're talking $20 million for just those 2 compared to that. Like, you could just do D'Lo and like Jalen Hood-Schifino, and then boom, there you go. You got Dorian Finney-Smith, and you got Day'Ron Sharpe, and you still have like Gabe Vincent. You still have Max Christie if need be, Jared Vanderbilt if need be, right? You still have Rui Hachimura if need be, right? You still have like another like 40, 50 million in salary you could send out. I mean, if you want to add in Austin Reeves, like if they ever would trade Austin Reeves, then you're talking like 70 million, right? Like, so I would just prefer that approach, right? Like, just go get Dorian Finney-Smith, get Day'Ron Sharpe. It fixes the same needs that you're looking to get from Kyle Kuzma and Jonas Valanciunas. But then also you could go get that other. You go get like a Bruce Brown, or you go get whatever, Zach LaVine, right? Like you go get Cam Johnson maybe, or you go get if the Portland Trail Blazers lower their asking price, you go get a Jeremy Grant, right? Like, especially if you could do it for one first. Like, I think that would be better than just like selling everything to get Kyle Kuzma and Jonas Valanciunas. Personally, I'm not big. I like Kuz. I'm thankful for him being a key contributor to the Lakers winning a championship, but he's very inefficient. He wants to be, the shot chucker. Like I said, he wants to sit courtside and, get all the baddies and play all. I mean, him and Jordan Poole, like that's not like a secret. Like that's their thing. They love it, right? Like, so it's just, I don't know. I let him have fun in Washington or go to one of these other places. I'm not super thrilled on Kuz. But that's my opinion, and as always, I pass the question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think, like, yeah, stay away from Kyle Kuzma, go focus on other guys? Do you think, no, you got to go get Kyle Kuzma? Kyle Kuzma and Jonas Valanciunas are the answer. Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.